start with a poem that I really love by Tess Gallagher. When two kisses kiss, it's like tigers answering questions about infinity with their teeth. Even if you are eaten, it's okay. You just become impossible. So humans kiss. Now, we all do it, you all do it. But when you think about it, it's kind of this really weird thing that we do, right? Like we kind of put our mouths together and lick each other, and it's super weird and maybe even a little gross. But it feels really good. And it's been an anthropological novelty and curiosity for a long time because all cultures do it, and it seems like they always have. So there's this debate in the scientific community. So is this learned behavior or, are we born with it? And I don't know about you, but I think that the scientists who think it's completely useless are super adorable. And I have a kiss for all of them after the show, and you should kiss them as well so they can maybe learn something. So there are a lot of theories about why we do it, and one of them is this gross thing behind me, which is courtship feeding, and it's kind of like grooming. And I really don't want to think that that is true because courtship feeding is just, super gross to me. So I prefer to think that there is a better reason for why we do this weird thing. So luckily, there is a very useful theory going around, and it's been going around for decades, that has to do with confessors. And they basically go out and get into a lot of pathobiological trouble. And then they come and they confess this trouble to their lover in small amounts, orally, in the form of a kiss, so that they have a better immune system, they build up antibodies, have better babies. So the confessor goes out and they get super, super, super dirty. They get into a lot of trouble. And then they come back and they have their entire life experience, and they can confess it beautifully in the form of a kiss. And then their lover can receive it. They dwell on it, they think about it, their body can solve it. So together we are whole, good conquers evil, love conquers all. This seemingly gross thing is great and profoundly gratifying. So you may be wondering, that's great, but what does that have to do with video games? Well, I happen to think that video game developers are doing a very similar thing. They are confessing to you their pathogens, but they're psychological pathogens in the form of a kiss. And I believe this because video games are very unlike other mediums and other art that is out there. Other art can sit there and be itself without you. A painting is still itself. But a video game requires you to mess with it. It requires interaction. Just like a kiss, it's just happening through blinking lights instead of, mouths and spit. So these developers have gone out and they have tried to get into a whole bunch of trouble. And they're going to give you this psychological kiss. They have gone and looked at the world, and they have made these games, and they want you to interact with it. And a game is not truly itself until you are there and they are there. And you have this moment that you're both participating in, and you create something new. And there's a lot of games that are like this. You might think, they're shooting and they're violent, and those exist, and they're fine. I'm not here to talk about them or really even to defend them. What I want you to know is that there's a whole other world out there of independent games like this one called Cart Life. And it's about a Ukrainian immigrant who has a newspaper stand. And you have to live his entire life and feed his cat and wait in line for permits and learn what it's like to get yourself out of poverty. Or this one called Dysphoria by Anna Anthropy, a transsexual woman. And it makes you go through what she went through as she got hormone therapy. And it's deeply personal and intimate and beautiful and nothing like I've ever experienced. And then this one called Kentucky Route Zero by Jake Elliott. And it's beautiful, magical realism. And it talks about the economic problems that the Deep South has had. And it's also deeply personal and not like those shooter games. So you should let yourself be kissed by these developers, because when two kisses kiss, it's like tigers answering questions about infinity with their teeth. And even if we are all eaten, it's okay. We all just become impossible. So give games a chance, and let's all play games. That's all.